On The Young and the Restless, few characters can dominate the canvas the way Victor Newman does. He's powerful, ruthless, and relentless when he sets his sights on revenge. But lately, fans have been growing tired of the constant vendettas, the recycled grudges, and the way his behavior drags down nearly every member of his family. Victor is out of control, and many believe it's time for him to face a long overdue reckoning. Victor's manufactured feud with Jack Abbott. At the top of Victor's current hit list is his eternal rival, Jack Abbott. For more than a year, Victor has been fuming, insisting that Jack put Nikki's life at risk, but the claim doesn't hold water. In truth, Jack risked both his health and his sobriety to help Nikki when she spiraled. Even Diane acknowledged that Jack's actions were a sacrifice, not a betrayal. But Victor, however, refuses to let go of his version of events. No one else in Genoa City agrees with his accusations. Not Nikki, not his children, not even his allies. The truth is, Victor wasn't there for Nikki when she needed help most. He kept alcohol in the house despite her being off the wagon, enabling her downfall instead of guiding her to rehab. Jack stepped in where Victor failed, and Victor's anger may be less about Jack's choices and more about his own guilt. Of course, Victor would never admit that. Instead, he clings to a flimsy justification for a feud that feels manufactured. For many fans, the entire storyline reeks of poor writing, with Victor's vendetta lacking the logic and weight his past rivalries carried. Another crusade against Billy Abbott. Victor's obsession with destroying Billy Abbott is another tiresome pattern. This time, he's even willing to bring Kane into the mix, despite Billy being the father of two of Victoria's children. Victor has targeted Billy for years, often without reason, and Victoria herself despises this relentless campaign. What makes the vendetta worse is that Billy was minding his own business, running Chancellor Industries, when Victor swooped in. With lies, manipulations, and underhanded tactics, Victor stole the company away, not because Billy wronged him, but simply because he could. This is Victor at his pettiest, sabotaging someone else's happiness just to feel powerful. While Billy isn't universally beloved, many fans still prefer Billy Miller's version of the character. He's become a sympathetic figure compared to Victor. Viewers may not believe Billy can bring Victor down on his own, but Kane, with his resources and willingness to play dirty, might just be able to help. And truth be told, Victor deserves to be knocked down a few pegs for this endless grudge alone. Meddling in his family's love lives. Victor's habit of interfering in his children's and grandchildren's relationships is another reason fans are fed up. Most recently, he set his sights on Claire, who was happily in love with Kyle. Their romance brought her joy, but because Kyle is Jack's son, Victor deemed the relationship unacceptable. Instead of respecting Claire's feelings, Victor hired Audra to sabotage them. This isn't new behavior. Victor has a long history of inserting himself into his children's love lives, often wreaking havoc. He's meddled with Victoria's romances, manipulated Nick's relationships, and pushed Adam to the brink. Each time, Victor insists he knows best, but the damage he leaves behind suggests otherwise. Nikki, for her part, often enables him, defending his actions even when they hurt their family. Fans have begun to question why she and the children don't finally stage an intervention and push Victor into retirement. Let the next generation run Newman Enterprises in peace without his constant interference. A bad influence on everyone around him. Victor doesn't just damage his family. His influence seeps into nearly everyone he touches. Take Michael Baldwin, for example, who often finds himself twisted into Victor's schemes. Time and again, Victor's manipulations dragged once stable characters into morally gray territory. What's particularly frustrating is that aside from Victor, the Newmans are doing surprisingly well. Adam has finally integrated into the family, forging strong bonds with Nick and even Victoria. Claire has been welcomed and has grown close to everyone. For once, the Newman children are happy and united. Without Victor stirring the pot, Newman Enterprises could be a stable, thriving business with little drama. Of course, stability doesn't always make for exciting soap opera material, but Victor's current chaos isn't creating exciting drama either. It feels repetitive, sloppy, and uninspired. Fans have had enough. Perhaps the most damning evidence that Victor needs to be taken down comes not from within Genoa City, but from viewers themselves. Across soap social media, fans express frustration with his storylines. They're tired of the endless cycles of vengeance, the lack of logic, and the poor motivations driving his actions. Victor has been a villain before, and when written well, he's one of daytime's most compelling antagonists. Consider his twisted scheme involving Jack, Phyllis, and Marco Anicelli. As outrageous as it was, kidnapping Jack, replacing him with Marco, and unwittingly putting Phyllis in bed with a stranger, the plot was engrossing because the writing gave Victor clear, if warped, motivations. His actions were terrible, but they made sense within his worldview. This current feud, by contrast, lacks that coherence. Victor's motives feel flimsy, his actions petty, and the overall arc uninspired. Longtime fans know the difference between compelling villainy and lazy recycling. And right now, Victor's stories fall into the latter category. Who could deliver the reality check? If anyone in Genoa City is poised to finally knock Victor off his pedestal, it might be Kane. Unlike the Newmans, who are too entangled in loyalty and family ties, Kane has no qualms about playing dirty. He has resources, motivation, and a willingness to do what Victor does best: scheme. Ideally, Nikki and the Newman children should be the ones to stop Victor. They know his weaknesses, and they're the ones most directly hurt by his behavior. But history shows they're unlikely to act decisively. Time after time, they enable Victor, excuse him, or fall back under his control. Kane, as an outsider with nothing to lose, may be the one person ruthless enough to deliver the karmic slap Victor deserves. That doesn't mean fans want Victor destroyed completely. He's too iconic, too essential to the fabric of the show. But he does need to be humbled. A significant loss, a reality check, something that forces him to rethink his actions could refresh both his character and the dynamics around him. Until then, viewers are left rolling their eyes as Victor rages at Jack, torments Billy, sabotages his family, and alienates fans. Genoa City's Titan needs to be toppled, if not permanently, then at least long enough to make him rethink his empire of control.